This will be about teen suicide. Teen suicide is very important and is a very well known way of death among teens. Teens attempt suicide because they try to escape feelings of rejection. Teens who grow up in a family where they're not shown enough attention usually tend to develop feelings of rejection, either by their parents, by their peers, or by family. Sometimes they feel hurt or at loss. They feel anger, shame, or guilt. Usually, teens who go through high school usually tend to have this feeling of hurt when they're rejected or when they're picked on, when they're a target of humiliation. They feel worried about disappointing family and friends. This is a very personal part to me because what I fear most in life is disappointing family and friends. Most of the teen population has experienced a feeling of suicide because they worry they will disappoint, and when they do disappoint they wonder if they would be better off dead, and that would greatly be an advantage to the persons around them. Usually they attempt suicide because they feel unwanted or unloved, victimized, or that they are a burden to others. Usually teenagers don't want to talk about their feelings because they feel like they're going to burden others, and so they keep it locked up in themselves, and it is their continuous daily thought. This can lead to suicide because psychologically, if you think on a thing too much and it is mainly negative thoughts, then it can affect your life greatly. And then this negativity can be your life every day. And then you find it hard to get out of that negative train of thought. Suicide is the third leading cause of death between the ages of 15 and 24. Usually, suicide is experienced among teenagers in high school, and so it happens at an early age. The suicide rate among teens has nearly tripled between the mid 1960s and mid 1980s. More teen males succeed in taking their lives than female, but there are still many attempts made by female teens. Teen males succeed mostly than female back in the 1960s because males usually have this male usually are think of having a high self-esteem because they're usually seen as the head of the family, head of the house, or they might even have a high background. So males committing suicide would be the last thing that would be on someone's mind to see. Females nowadays are committing suicide more than males because of their low self-esteem and their and how much they want to be accepted by society. They want to look pretty, they want to be beautiful, they want to be attractive. And if they aren't attractive or if they don't feel attractive, then they begin to have a very low self esteem. And if they're being picked on at school or being bullied, then that can add on to how they feel. And this will lead to them being depressed. And depression is the number one lead in why suicide is done. As you can see, this is a sign that says these are the reasons why teen suicide happens. It happens with bullying and depression, sexual identity. If they're gay, they're usually picked on because they're shown that that is a very unhealthy path to take, and then they feel like they are left out of society and don't belong, and so they might commit suicide. 13.8% of teens have seriously considered attempting suicide. Usually, when people commit suicide, they have no one and they need someone, but they are afraid of reaching out because they're afraid of being judged. And this is another reason why people commit suicide. When a teen commits suicide, people might think that they were stupid, or they weren't thinking, or they just simply gave up. A teen who commits suicide has gone through a lot. They have been through rejection, they have been through judgments, they have been through thoughts that they can't control nor they can't share because of fear. Teen suicide is very common, mostly because of depression and when a teen decides that they should give up. And it's a very crucial teenage life is a very crucial part in someone's life because those are the times when people look for their identity. And when they feel like their identity is being judged or denied, they usually turn to depression and become locked away from society. And this gives them a reason to become suicide because they feel like no one will know, no one will care. And that's what they're looking for, someone to care about them. Usually they are a cry out for help. And they really want the help, but they're looking for someone to actually recognize them, see that they need the help without telling them. And that's another thing about teenagers who commit suicide. They look for people who will realize that they need the help. They won't tell you, they won't come to you because they don't have the confidence to. Deep inside, they want the help, but they know that they're actually just looking for a way out. They don't want to ask for help unless you come to them and ask them what's wrong. Suicide is preventable. 12.8% of youth reported they made a plan for suicide in a 2011 study. 7.8% of youth attempted suicide one or more times in the previous 12 months at 2011 study. Teens are vulnerable to suicide because of hormones and sleep cycles, which change drastically during adolescence. We need to let our peers know that they aren't alone. No matter what they're going through, no matter what their choices in life, that they are not alone. Because there's always a group of people who will always accept them for who they are. Rejection is a very, very important thing. It can affect someone's life entirely. Being rejected is not a good feeling, and it can develop negative thoughts and negative feelings that can lead to suicide. This is my presentation on teen suicide. I hope if anyone out there is considering suicide, that you will go and talk to someone. Find someone who you can trust, close friend, close relative. Teen suicide is very serious. And although we might think that tomorrow is dark, there's always a positive side to a negative situation. And we can find that side. I would like to become a psychologist, and I love to talk to people about their feelings. I like to give them a positive side in life. And if you need help, just know you have a friend who will be there and not judge you. Thank you.